Welcome to Innovate Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech. Today we're delighted to have our guest, Vandana Tolani, who is the founder and CEO of or at Convanto. Am I right? Convanto?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Great. Vandana, thank you for joining us today. And could you start by, if you don't mind, introducing yourself and providing us with some insights on your background and expertise?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Bob, for having me on your podcast.
My pleasure.
The day you had sent a message on LinkedIn, I was very touched that somebody wants to call me for a podcast, and maybe seeing my work is a little bit impressed about it. So that was
Yes.
really nice of you. And I'll just start with my background. I was in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years. Here I headed my own family office fund. This is my 10th year in India. I did investments, then I went back to advisory. I'm connected with 400 plus global investors. We pick up global deals as well as Indian deals. In total, we have helped 220 companies in 45 countries with fundraisers. I've given a 350 plus talks. They are listed on my website. I've helped 5 VC funds with fundraisers. I'm top 10 women leaders in wealth management, Woman Entrepreneur of the Year 2021-2023. World Women Congress has awarded me to be a global woman leader. Hindustan Times, Gurgaon Times, Times of India, newspapers like these have covered me up. So Times of India has covered me up to be one of the 15 dynamic entrepreneurs of 2023. Hindustan
Amazing.
Times covered me up on National Startup Day. Gurgaon Times covered me up on Republic Day, my entire story. And that was the whole thing. And Dr. Kiran Bedi has awarded me to be the best financial institution in supporting startups in India. And there is a Bollywood actress that awarded me recently to be one of the pioneering women leaders in investment banking space.
Wow, there's so much to talk about. Amazing. I mean, how do you, just before we get into it, how do you find time being involved with so many different projects, so many different positions? You're involved in many things.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm very passionate about giving back. One of my goals is to always be on podcasts, always be on I'm always there on college events. I feel like giving back, and if somebody gets inspired by me and turns into an entrepreneur, it will be good. I do a lot of time management. So initially, when my kids were small, it was difficult. But now,
Yes.
my daughter is in Germany, and she works for a Swiss company. She's supporting her own education. My son is going to college. He is doing psychology. So once
Yeah.
they are settled, there is a little bit more time. But uh, I always keep myself busy, and I do a lot of time management from morning to night. I'm awake till almost 1, 2 o'clock because I cater to USA and UK clients. And then I'm up
Yes.
again at 5:36. And then sometimes, there are days when, because of this schedule, the sleep doesn't come. So those days I'm,
You know, I could relate to that. I could definitely relate to that.
yeah,
But at least now, the kid's out of the house, so you get some rest. It's like, you know what, today
yeah,
I'm going to sleep a little late or take a nap.
yeah,
Definitely, you need that.
yeah,
But yes, when you're passionate about something, you don't feel being tired because you're excited. You're always doing the things that you're passionate. I love doing, and you see the growth.
yeah, yeah. I don't feel tired because I'm always doing work which I love. And, so there are days when I have to go far away to give talks and all, like offline talks. And then when I come back, people ask me, "You're not tired?" I'm like, "No, I really enjoyed my work. I'm quite fresh. I can do one more talk and stuff like that." So that's about it.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Vandana, let's talk about your investment and your advisory roles. That you are an investor and also an advisor investor, and you also an advisory roles also,
Yeah,
different companies, and you're also involved in startups.
yeah,
maybe we start talking about the startup scene, and you are basically located and you operate out of India, correct?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the startup scene, the startup tech scene, AI. I know India always been one of the leading countries from since many many years ago. When you want a project, anything to do with technology, always go to India, and a lot of the lead Indian tech in the states are all come from India. A lot of them are Indians, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the startup scene there. How do you see the growth, the competition, the success, and I don't like to use the word failure, but failure sometimes you could use it in a positive way as a learning curve always.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your vision in the startup scene there and your involvement in certain startups in India.
So, firstly, there are a lot of unicorns that have come up in India. The startup ecosystem is really doing great. The funds in India have a lot of capital. They are investing heavily in startups in India and abroad. So, essentially, we already are reaching, closer to Silicon Valley, and I
Wow.
think we already call some of our cities Silicon Valley of India because they have all the tech startups. So, like Bangalore,
Which one is the main tech startup cities in India that you would
Bangalore
say?
is called the yeah,
Bangalore.
Bangalore is called Silicon Valley. Hyderabad is called Silicon Valley because there are a lot of tech startups there. Of course, Delhi and Mumbai have a lot also, but Bangalore is
Mumbai.
mostly called the tech thing. Uh, Everything
Oh,
technological is mostly you'll find in Bangalore and Hyderabad.
okay. Very interesting. Okay. Oh, so yeah, let's dive into the tech scene, the tech startup scene in India.
So, there are a lot of health tech startups, fintech startups, consumer tech startups that have come in. We have a lot of ed tech startups. Technology, we are catching up with technology. We have done a lot of AI startups already. To give you a used case, we also have a health startup where we are working very closely with, where what they do is they test the saliva of students, CEOs, CFOs, and do a psychometric test and derive a career path. And all the lab test and everything is in India. So, these kind of startups have come up. Healthcare AI startups have come up. We are very forward in consumer tech, D2C brands. So I think we are catching up as well, and deals are happening all the time. There's a lot of capital um, in the there's a lot of capital in the Indian VC ecosystem space. We have new funds coming up all the time, and people actually are diverting now. There is a gift city in India, which is like the Dubai free zone. Similar to that, there's a gift city in India, which is a tax-free zone in Gujarat, and all the multinational companies, the international funds are setting up funds there because it is going to be a tax-free zone of India. It is called Gift City. So if you see big
Interesting.
funds from Singapore have set up their offices there. From Dubai, people have set up offices there. So now no more people are making a holding company in Singapore or Dubai.
It's very global.
It's very global. They're very global.
What startups are you personally involved in or invested? Because you're also an angel investor, am I right?
So I was investing up to COVID period. Then I stopped investing. Then I went back to mostly helping startup get investments. That's how I've helped 220 startups in 45 countries. But my personal preference is health tech because I feel that's solving a larger problem like health, especially anything related to cancer, anything related to lifestyle diseases like the diabetes. Here in India, if you know that there's a lot of Ayurvedic stuff that has come up, natural Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic is a natural science medicine wherein you don't have to take medicines, allopathic medicines, but you take
Yeah.
real medicines like turmeric, like ginger. Medicines are made up of natural herbs. So
Yeah. More of a holistic kind of
holistic,
approach.
yeah, holistic.
Yeah.
There are many naturopathy centers. You will find a few in Bangalore. You will find a few closer to Delhi where people from abroad come in. I have a friend in USA. She's an investor, and she says, I bring my parents to naturopathy centers in India to get treated because naturally people get treated by doing exercises like yoga, by having Ayurvedic tablets. So I think these are some of the places. I also do a lot of D2C brands. We do a lot of investments in there as well. So AI, robotics, automation, these are some of the things we look at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now, when you were living in Jakarta, you involved in BSD family office.
Yeah.
And how did that shape and change your approach in the investment world and advisory?
See, when you're at the board of a fund or a family office fund, you are yourself investing, so you look at startups differently. When you are, on the other side as an investment banker, you look at startups differently. Now, we did come across a lot of startups wherein people were utilizing money to buy a car, the investors' money. They were utilizing the money to treat cancer. They were not utilizing the money to expand their business. So my overall experience in Jakarta and Singapore was very nice. They welcomed me, and did a lot of investments. But I think I was more welcomed in India because there's a lot more opportunity over here as well now, and people really want to uplift women, wherein we get a lot of opportunities. And I did a lot of work here after coming back. In fact, more work here than there. So that was the thing.
A lot of these home offices, for some of our listeners and viewers, they might not be familiar with. I'm sure a lot of people are. It's basically, wealthy families who
Yeah.
decide, instead of investing with other investment firms, having their own investment advisors in house,
Yeah.
and they only trade and for them
Yeah.
only and invest for them only. So it's like having your own private investment firm, correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes. And the ones that you worked for in Jakarta and in Singapore, were they also the same thing, private
Yeah.
family for certain
Family.
wealthy families?
Yeah.
Amazing. Really. Is there a lot of that in Singapore and Jakarta and in that Asian side of the world?
I think it's all over. You will find them in USA, you will find in Dubai. I think Dubai has the maximum number of such family offices, funds.
Really?
Yeah, Dubai has a lot.
A lot, huh?
Yeah, Dubai is
Amazing.
because it's also people from all parts of the world come to Dubai, and they cater to a lot of startups, which is multinational, companies.
Do you feel the rise of this family office trend is decreasing, people investing in investment firms, going out there and having brokers or advisory investors in banks and firms also?
No, there are
It's low. It's more and more going towards the family office.
no, there are a lot of VC funds. There are a lot of micro VC funds that have come up. There are a lot of family offices that are already there since generations, and then a
Yeah.
part of them do this fundraising as well. They open small funds, uh, you
Yeah.
know, and then we have a lot of HNIs. There are angels. So I think all kind of people are all over the place, and this space, especially investments, has come up lately. You know, a lot post COVID, because people were easily able to connect with each other all over the world through digital platforms, and I think because of that, the rise in investments happened a lot.
You started your own firm or your own office called Convato, obviously using your last name. Tell us about that, please. What drove you to do it, and what's the services that you provide through your office?
Sure. So, firstly, Convanto's full form is Consultant Vandana Tolani. Uh, when I came back to India, I wanted to keep a name which is more related to me and the work that I was doing. That was one thing. Uh, we are on board of VC funds. We advise them. That is one of our services. We help small size, large size, medium size companies with their documents like pitch decks, financial models, valuations, business plans, investor decks, investor teasers, sales deck. This is one um, service that we provide. We help them with fundraising. We connect them with the right kind of investors, and we give them end-to-end service and guidance as to how to approach the investor, how to raise investments. We help them with term sheet analysis, as well. And we also do a lot of paid speaker events and unpaid speaker events also, depending on what comes to us. Apart from this, we do a lot of mentoring. We are on TopMate. People come to us for mentoring advisors and other stuff as well.
Amazing. What were some of the biggest hurdles that you faced when you started Convato, when you launched it? And how did you go? How did you kind of overcome these hurdles and challenges?
So I think, being a single mother, with two little kids and having to do work and to, drop them to school and do so much, that was the biggest hurdle. But as and when the kids grew and became more independent, it became more easier. Also, uh, you know, the it's and this is a general thing. I mean, all over
Yes.
the world, somehow there is this notion that women cannot manage money. It's not only
Oh,
in India, in abroad, I have seen it in other countries that there is this notion that women cannot be on VC boards. They cannot because they cannot manage money. There is this some notion that goes on. So that also was one of the things, that I had to, prove it that women can actually manage money and do a lot of other things as well. And apart from this, uh, like I mean, whether it's Dubai, whether it's Singapore, whether it's any other country, or whether it's India, I myself I don't dare to step out of the house. Like if I have to crack a deal at night, like if there's some investors that have come in and I have to drive and I have to take them out for dinner and I have to crack.
yes.
That doesn't happen with me. I stop at 8 o'clock. But if I was a male, maybe I could just take my car and drive and finish up all the work. That is one another thing. So I have to also think and like where I'm going, what I'm doing, whom I'm meeting. So I have to think a lot as a woman. That is one of the hurdles. Apart-
Hey, nothing wrong with being careful.
Yeah, we need to be careful. And
Nothing wrong. Yes, nothing wrong.
yeah, so I think these are some of the things where I feel that, I wish I could, cross these barriers. Now I'm looking forward to do C, D, and E series deals, and also I want to come on the front page of Forbes, but very organically I want to do that. So that is my next goal, and do a lot many podcasts. So I think these hurdles, if I'm able to cross as well. And sometimes there are times when staff goes missing, then you have to cater to the client. So these are some small challenges that I feel, oh, I wish that some days are really smooth and some days are like all upside down.
Absolutely, like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Can you share some standout successes, stories that that you came across through your work at your own company, Convanto?
Yeah, we do ticket sizes from 1 million to 100 million.
Yeah.
We have our greatest success is that we are able to help uh, companies in 45 countries already. And our greatest success has been a few companies that recently we have got them a term sheet of above 14 to 15 million, wherein the
Yeah.
revenue was not that much as well. But because they had a lot of scope, that has been my greatest success. I think COVID actually got a lot of success to me. I can explain how. Because sitting on one chair, I was closing deals, giving talks, so all that traveling time got saved and I
Yeah.
was more productive. So I think the real breakthrough for me happened in actually COVID. I closed deals
Oh,
really fast and everything.
well, look, everybody was home. That's why.
Yeah, and I was getting a lot
You
of
know.
work sitting at home.
Wow.
And everything was happening naturally. It was like some magic wand that was happening. And I was like, okay, what's happening. It was like, okay, this has happened, okay, this has happened also, like, so it was like that. So I think that has been, COVID period has been very, I would say, sorry to say, but it was where I was lucky during that period.
How do you stay on top of the trends in the fast-moving fields like fintech and healthcare or health tech?
So there are two, three things that I rigorously follow. I do a lot of reading. I keep, myself updated on the trends that have come up. Not only this, I go to a lot of conferences. I'm invited in Dubai, in UK, in other countries as well, in other cities.
So you stay active. You really
Yeah,
stay very
active
active and
and
connected.
yeah, connected. And I talk to a lot of people. I engage in conversations. I understand what's happening, and then that's how I feed myself with a lot of information.
You know, with Convanto, your company, you work on fundraising, marketing, growth strategies, and other things. Which area you find the most crucial for a startup out of all of these three? I mentioned the marketing, the fundraising, the growth.
I think fundraising is the most crucial. It's a tedious process of 3 to 4 months, wherein one has to sell themselves literally to the investors and you know uh, convince them to get put money into their startup. I think that is the most challenging for any entrepreneur.
You don't think the growth strategies comes first because this is how you really create value, you attract more investors, you sink your teeth more into the business, you understand it more, you know what's missing, you know what is needed, how to adjust the product if it's really the way you did it, it's suitable for the marketplace, so you need to make some adjustment. If it's a piece of technology, software, hardware technology, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, scalability and growth is one of the issues, that is also crucial. But fundraise is also one crucial thing. So I think they both go in hand. uh, you know,
Okay.
Having your website in place, having your LinkedIn page in place, uh, you know, posting about your company regularly, about your product, educating people about it. If it's a new product, say, I've invented some product on menopause. Now, how many people are educated about it? That what happens during menopause, or why one needs to take a more herbal kind of a medicine. So, I think, if you can explain your product in a layman's language to any investor and show them you
Yeah.
have the drive, I think that's more important.
Where do you see the success most in startups? Is it healthcare startups? Is it fintech? Is it entertainment startups? Tech startups? In the tech business, tech AI? Which one do you think the most in demand? Education, tech AI startups, or the one that you see more success come out of it?
Yeah, tech AI
Which
definitely.
sector?
Tech AI definitely, health tech, health with AI definitely, D2C consumer, and consumer tech. I think these are the
Cons-
most hot areas nowadays.
Interesting. Interesting. You were an investor for a long time. You worked in Singapore and you worked in Jakarta,
Yeah.
which is Indonesia. How did that experience and that knowledge kind of obviously involving in finance? How did that change your approach to doing business in many things?
See, when we travel to a lot of countries, our approach
Yes.
becomes more global and diversified. So, diversity is something when we meet different people from different cultural backgrounds, we understand, diverse cultures, and
Yes.
I think that opens up the mind a lot and helps us engage with people more better because we already have exposure to that kind of a thing. I have exposure to
Yes.
being in Bangkok as well. I have exposure to being in Hong Kong. I have an exposure to be in Dubai as well. So, these things really make you like a global entity kind of a thing.
Correct. Correct. What advice you would have for some of the young women who will be watching this episode and be inspired by you and say, you know what, I want to follow the same path that that you took. So, what advice you'll have for them?
So, one motto that I always follow is anybody who is criticizing you is only doing so because they are doing less than you. So don't fall for that. You know, what happens is women tend to lose their confidence because they
Yes.
hear and then they start self doubting. So I think that, remove the self doubt, believe in yourself, and, always think at the back of the mind if anybody is continuously criticizing you, they are only doing so because they're doing less than you and because they cannot come at the same stage with you, and that is why instead of uh, you know pushing you and making you positive, they try to criticize you so that they can break your confidence.
Yes. Yes.
I think one should not fall for that.
Stay away from the haters.
Yeah.
Focus on positivity. Yes, absolutely. How does it feel being named top 10 women leaders in wealth management? Something that you've been, very knowledgeable about. How does it feel?
I feel on top of the world because, like I said, I've heard comments of people who would say that, women cannot manage money. So that was my, give back. Like, look, I can. So I think, when somebody is continuously criticizing you, you have to focus on yourself and, continue doing what you're doing and achieve it. And that is your answer to them. So I feel on top of the world. I feel I can manage money. I feel that people get inspired by me. They look upon to me. So I feel happy about that. And I
Amazing.
didn't know that Convanto has such a big name until one day one lady called me up and she said, "Do you know who you are?" And I'm like, "Who am I?" And that's how I realized, okay, people really know about Convanto. Until then, I used to think, okay, who would know Convanto? It's a small boutique investment bank firm somewhere in India. Uh,
Oh, wow. Well, you put in your time and the dues, and that's what happened.
yeah.
You get back. How do your role at Loyal VC fit into your doing with Convanto?
So I'm on board of Loyal VC Fund as an advisor, which is a
Yes.
Canadian fund, and essentially, I'm very grateful to Loyal VC for having me on their board because that also gives me some kind of recognition. Oh, she's capable of doing things, and she's on board of advisors in a fund. So I think that has really helped me. And Loyal VC is actually a fund that really supports women. They have a lot of advisors as women, and women can actually become mentors on their board. So they have a lot of things in place, especially for women. So that's what I like about them, that they're very supportive. Uh,
Yeah.
and they are all over the world as well. They are a global entity. So that's also, I think, my gratitude to them as well.
Looking ahead, what's exciting? What are you excited about in Convanto future? And is there any new opportunities or trends you're particularly interested in or working on?
Yeah, I'm very excited about bringing Convanto to a very global level where, even at Silicon Valley, people are talking about it. And, when people sit in aircrafts, there's a magazine that comes out and it's about Convanto. So, and they say, oh, I know this woman. I met her here. So I think that is what is, there's a saying that people should talk about you, that hey, I know this person, I met this person, and this is what I received. So I think that is my biggest thing that I look forward to. And of course, I want to be all over the world, heard on different radio stations, TV channels, everywhere. And I think wherever I can give away my knowledge, and somebody can get inspired and do the same thing, I think that is when my real success will be there.
Amazing. Well, Vandana, I have to say, thank you very much for joining us today. It's very insightful and I would say liberating and motivating. And I love your advocacy for women in tech and in leadership in India and everywhere in the world. Thank you for joining us today at Innovate Presents Entrepreneurs in Tech.